Doug Kyed, joined here by Zack Cox. The first round of the 2021 NFL draft just wrapped up, and really it seems like it couldn't have bounced better for the Patriots. They were able to take the fifth quarterback off the board in Mac Jones at the 15th overall pick, but they didn't have to move up for him. So they didn't have to give up any draft capital. They were able to stay patient, wait, and really it seems like the perfect player fell into their laps.
Yeah, honestly, this seemed like a pretty perfect outcome for the Patriots. We just spent the last several weeks and months debating on whether the Patriots should trade up to draft one of these top five quarterbacks. And with everything that transpired in this draft, one of them ended up sliding right to them at number 15. I still have the concerns about Mac Jones, whether he's ever going to be an all-pro caliber quarterback with the quality of the roster he played with last year and some of his physical limitations. But overall, he looked like the quarterback who was the best fit for the Patriots of any of them that they would have been in their range in that first round. The fact they were able to get him, address their biggest need, and not have to give up any additional draft capital to do so, I think that's a big win for the Patriots.
Yeah, definitely. I think there are certainly some concerns with Mac Jones. The arm strength isn't quite there, maybe not as mobile, or certainly not as mobile as most of the quarterbacks that were on the board there. But I had sort of heard before this week that the Patriots weren't all that enamored with Justin Fields, the Ohio State quarterback who went 11th overall to the Chicago Bears. They traded up above the Patriots to take Justin Fields. So I'm not quite sure if they would have had Fields above Mac Jones on their draft board anyway. I'm not sure how they felt about Trey Lance, who ended up going number 3 overall to the San Francisco 49ers. But I feel like we really hadn't put a ton of thought into this scenario where Mac Jones could fall to them at 15th overall, because it really seemed like the 49ers were going to take him number 3 overall. That never really seemed like the best move. It always felt like they should have been looking at either Justin Fields or Trey Lance. That is what they wound up doing. And it does feel like these quarterbacks kind of went off the board in the right order. But as you said, quarterback, absolutely the Patriots' biggest need in this draft, not only to compete for the starting job with Cam Newton, but also to have that player in the future. And it's just harder to find a quarterback. So you might as well take that guy in the first round and then try to fill in all the rest of the needs later on in the draft.
Absolutely. And now it will be very interesting to see how the Patriots handle the quarterback position going forward in the coming months leading up to this season, because Bill Belichick said right away, Cam Newton is the Patriots quarterback. Currently, he said until one of Jarrett Stidham or Mac Jones plays better than Cam Newton, then Cam Newton is the Patriots starting quarterback. And some interesting comments from Jones in his introductory press conference. He used the word support a lot. He said that he's here to support Cam Newton and Jarrett Stidham to help them be the best players they can be and help the team in any way possible. And it was just an interesting mindset for a guy coming in as a first round pick. It doesn't seem like he's coming in gunning for Cam Newton's job, gunning for that starting quarterback spot. The Patriots surely hope that he takes that spot sooner rather than later, but it will be very interesting to see when that is and how long that this remains Cam Newton's job.
I think that there's a few elements in play here. First of all, the fact that Cam Newton was the starter last year and is only on a 1-year deal. I think that allows the Patriots to play out this situation that way where, yeah, Cam's our quarterback, and then we'll kind of see what happens moving forward. I think the other thing is that Bill Belichick doesn't want to overhype taking a quarterback in the first round. Obviously, he hasn't done that since he came to the Patriots. So I think that was probably the biggest part of it, is that he doesn't want everyone to say, all right, well, this is the Patriots starting quarterback, Mac Jones, because Bill Belichick doesn't say this. Usually the Patriots mantra is that you have to compete for absolutely everything. You have to earn everything. I don't recall him ever saying, yeah, Devin McCourty's our safety after they took Kyle Duggar last year. I don't think he ever said the words, Tom Brady's our quarterback after they took Jarrett Stidham or Ryan Mallett. So this was definitely a change for Bill Belichick to come right out in the opening statement and say that.
I think it does help the Patriots a little bit in that regard, in that Mac Jones, even with all the hype that was going on over the last couple of weeks, he was still kind of widely viewed as the number 5 guy in this draft. I think that it would have, the hype train would have been a lot different if the Patriots did end up drafting Justin Fields or Trey Lance, even if you view those guys as players who maybe aren't going to be ready to start right away at the NFL level. I just think the pre-draft hype machine would have risen that to a different level. I think with Mac Jones, maybe the expectations are going to be slightly lower going in, but they did use the 15th overall draft pick on this guy, so he will be expected to start sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and if they had taken another player at that 15 overall spot, I know one player they would have been considering is offensive tackle Elijah Vera Tucker, who the Jets actually traded right up above the Patriots to take him 14th overall. If the Patriots had taken him at 15, he probably would not have started right away either. So it really would have taken a special player for the Patriots to take him at 15 overall and immediately thrust him in as their starter. So I know that a quarterback feels different. It is different. It's the most important player on the field, but we do know from what Bill Belichick said that you can't just pencil Mac Jones in as that week 1 starter. He has to beat out Cam Newton in training camp. So we'll see how that all goes. It's still April. We've got OTAs, we've got mini camp, we've got training camp, we've got the preseason to figure out who is going to be the Patriots starter. But we do know that Mac Jones is in here, potential franchise quarterback of the future for the Patriots, but it is still Cam Newton's job to lose.